We have a big update to get to here on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report on Trey Smith and his contract information. And I'll tell you this much, folks, it is some great news. Welcome in to the Kansas City Chiefs Report, powered by Chat Sports. Your fearless leader, Tyler Jones, here with you. Thanks for joining us. Before we get you to today's breaking news, folks, we need your help as we are quickly approaching 73,000 subscribers here on the channel. Less than 500 away from reaching that next milestone. For breaking news, Q&A mailbags, daily news and rumors, live shows each and every Tuesday and more, you need to subscribe to the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Best part about it, doesn't cost you a thing. 100% free. Subscribe now. Make sure to tell all your friends and have them subscribe as well. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV, and we'll get started with today's show. According to a new report, the Kansas City Chiefs are nearing a deal on an extension with offensive guard Trey Smith after he was franchise tagged back in the spring, and the Chiefs had a deadline to get a long-term deal done, and it appears that they are very close to making that happen. Everyone's favorite K9 NFL insider, Slick Rick, Pretty Ricky, tweeting out this news this morning. The hashtag Chiefs have until July 15th at 4 p.m. Eastern, that's 3 p.m. Central Time, to get a deal done with Trey Smith. It sounds like the Chiefs are on the goal line of getting the deal finalized. Hashtag Chiefs Kingdom. This is huge for the Kansas City Chiefs to get this taken care of with Trey Smith. There's a lot of things going on with the Kansas City Chiefs right now of what they're trying to organize, whether it be long-term deals for Trent McDuffie and George Karlaftis, among other things, right? But the number one priority at this day, this very hour, this moment, is getting a long-term contract done with Trey Smith. And although we're told that they are close, that they're at the goal line, Brett Veach still has to get the job done. We still need the pen on the dotted line with an agreement in place for Trey Smith to stay in Kansas City long-term. So the clock is ticking. Brett Veach needs to move quickly before that clock ultimately runs out there on July 15th, which is just over a week away at this point. And here's the other thing I will say. Although they're at the goal line, if we've learned anything from the past, it's not over till it's over, till the fat lady sings. Shout out Adele, I guess, maybe. Sorry, Adele fans out there. That's a joke. But, yes, we need to see it actually happen and make it get done. Because if you recall, many years ago when Orlando Brown was here and was the starting offensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, there was optimism that a deal would get done with Orlando Brown when he got the franchise tag. And then we got to the final day and final hour, and nothing actually happened. I do not want to see a repeat of the Orlando Brown situation play itself out. So let's see them get this finalized and get it taken care of. Let's tell you what you need to know on this situation involving Trey Smith. When Trey Smith received the franchise tag, it was a bit unorthodox. We typically don't see offensive guards get those franchise tags because they put all of offensive linemen in one category. So it's comparable with like tackles, who, for example, are the highest paid offensive linemen typically in football. So that franchise tag made him the highest paid offensive guard in the NFL. The franchise tag is set to pay Trey Smith, if we were to stay on it, a one-year, $23.4 million deal. And for the Kansas City Chiefs, why it's significant to get a long-term deal done right now, they have until July 15th, so there's got to be a sense of urgency to move quickly on this. But also, an extension will lower Smith's cap hit significantly compared to if he were to play on said franchise tag. And the Chiefs, of course, don't have a ton of money right now, so that would give them that cap flexibility, whether it's bringing in other free agents or making a trade just to have that money they can potentially move around. The long-term deal is not expected to match the franchise tag number, all right? So he is going, in theory, make less money this year, but over the course of the term, he will more than make up for the money that he would miss out on by playing on the franchise as opposed to playing on the franchise tag this year. The folks at Arrowhead Pride are projecting that Trey Smith will get about a 4-year, $86 million deal with about 60.25 guaranteed. That is a lot of money for Trey Smith, but I think that's going to be one that pays off in the long run, and it is a no-brainer for Brett Veach and the Kansas City Chiefs to get him taken care of. Prediction time. Our pinned comment today. Will the Chiefs get it done with Trey Smith? That long-term extension. You got two options here. Type Y for yes, in for no. Predict it for me in the comment section and let us know what you think. Personally, I am of the belief that when the Chiefs placed the franchise tag on Trey Smith, that they made their decision, that they made their bed, now they got to sleep in it, that they had no choice, but they were going to go forward and get this contract extension done. That was the first step that gave them a little bit more time because, remember, when we were earlier in the offseason, the talk was that Trey Smith wasn't even going to be here. They found out that the salary cap was going to be much higher than anticipated. Brett Veach said, all right, that puts Trey back in play. We'll put him on the franchise tag for now to give us more time to get a deal done. And they have to keep him. There's no choice. And he's worth every penny that he is about to receive from the Kansas City Chiefs. And he's already done a fantastic job in his career to this point, looking like one of, if not the very best offensive guards in all of American tackle football. A Pro Bowler for the first time this past season in 2024. A part of 2 Super Bowl championships now with the Kansas City Chiefs. And he's come a long way from being a 6th-round pick out of Tennessee back in 2021. If you recall, there was an injury concern with Trey Smith when he was in college out at Tennessee, and that's why his stock went as low as it did. And he's been totally reliable since he's been with the Kansas City Chiefs and has certainly earned this opportunity and proven what he needed to prove in order to get this deal done. The grades last year were outstanding for Trey Smith in about every aspect you could think of. In over 1,100 snaps, had an offensive grade of 78.8, a pass block grade of 70.6, a run block grade of 80.8. Did not allow a ton of pressures or sacks either. Did not get called for many penalties. Trey Smith was fantastic. And you look at Trey Smith, I think a 4-year deal, that makes sense. I know there was some talk about a 5-year deal potentially, but I can live with the 4-year deal. I think in Trey Smith's case, he probably would prefer the 4-year deal himself. That way he can get a year closer to getting back to the negotiating table again. And I think you're willing to sacrifice maybe that 5th year to keep Trey happy, to make sure that he gets what he wants out of all this too. By comparison to some of the other offensive guards that are out there that have gotten paid recently, you look at Dickerson of the Philadelphia Eagles. He's on a 4-year, $84 million deal, and he's got about $50 million guaranteed. Quentin Nelson, the all-pro guard with the Indianapolis Colts, he's on about a 4-year, $80 million deal with $60 million guaranteed. So by comparison, if, let's say, that Trey Smith ends up getting this 4-year, $86 million deal with 60.25 guaranteed, you are not only making him the highest paid offensive guard in all of football, but you also get him his guaranteed money as well. So for Trey Smith, he gets pretty much everything he wants. He gets the long-term contract for 4 years. He gets to be the highest paid offensive guard in football, and he gets his guaranteed money. I think it's a win-win. And not to mention, he gets to play for the best organization in football, protecting a future first ballot Hall of Famer and the most talented quarterback we've ever seen in Patrick Mahomes as well. So, what is your one-word reaction to the Trey Smith news? I'll give you my one-word reaction coming up in a moment, but want to hear from you guys first. Sound off in the comments section and let us know. Nike Chiefs t-shirts are on sale now. $10 off plus free shipping at chatsports.com/ChiefsNike is where you can get these today. It's getting hot outside. It's getting humid. You need to wear some t-shirts. You want to represent the Kansas City Chiefs and some Nike gear at the same time as well. It's a fantastic deal. Go see for yourself now. Chatsports.com/ChiefsNike to get yours today. We have all sorts of different shapes and sizes available. We also have other Chiefs merchandise at that same link. Go see for yourself now. Chatsports.com/ChiefsNike. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. That's chatsports.com/ChiefsNike. My one-word reaction is relieved. I am relieved. Brett Veach does it again. The man is a magician. We say it all the time. In Veach, we trust. And, it seemed like just a few months ago, this was a foregone conclusion that Trey Smith was not going to return to the Kansas City Chiefs. And in the words of the great Michael Scott, oh, how the turntables for this team. He's too valuable to lose. And we've seen this Chiefs offensive line already have a number of issues last season. And if you were not going to have Trey Smith, that would make things even more difficult than what they could potentially be. He's earned this. I don't think anyone is going to sit here and argue that you should not pay Trey Smith, that he's not worth that money, because everyone knows that he is. And I'll say this much. I think this offensive line is going to be better than what people think and what they're giving it credit for heading into 2025 of what we anticipate of what's to come. You think about this offensive line situation, all right? Jalen Moore and Josh Simmons competing for that starting left tackle job. Simmons, he's the backup for now. He still has to earn that job, but he's expected to do so. Kingsley at the left guard spot should be an improvement from the way he performed last year at the tackle position. That should be a more natural spot for him with his shorter arms. And Jalen Moore could potentially play guard. And Mike Caliendo didn't play too bad until the Super Bowl last year in that postseason run. Creed Humphrey, the best center in all of football, playing alongside Trey Smith. And then Jawan Taylor, I know that he's had his issues when it comes to penalties and whatnot, but we've still seen plenty of good from Jawan Taylor as well. Big picture, I think it's huge that the Chiefs have Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith locked up long term. They already got the deal done with Creed Humphrey in the preseason last year, and Creed, I'm a big fan of. I've been following him since his days at Oklahoma. He's been tremendous. To have those two spots secure is a big deal for Kansas City. They're going to lead the way for a long time. We'll see what the players look like around them. If Josh Simmons develops, we'll see what happens with the left guard situation. I know that Jawan Taylor is likely entering his last year in Kansas City, but no doubt you have some cornerstones, some true all-pro talents that are going to be on your offensive line with Creed and Trey for many years to come. For continuing Chiefs coverage, subscribe now to the Kansas City Chiefs Report, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.